first ever fine has been issued over space junk, what we call space debris. U.S. authorities said they have issued a breakthrough first ever fine over space debris, slapping a $150,000 penalty on a TV company that failed to properly dispose of a satellite. On Monday, the Federal Communications Commission, FCC, came down on Dish for failure to properly deorbit a satellite called EchoStar 7 in orbit since 2002. The FCC, which authorizes space-based telecom services, said in a statement, "This marks a first in space debris enforcement by the Commission, which has stepped up its satellite policy efforts." As the geostationary satellite came to the end of its operational life, Dish had moved to an altitude lower than the two parties had agreed on, where it could pose orbital debris concerns. The Commission said Dish, a U.S. satellite television provider, pledged in 2012 to elevate the satellite to 300 kilometers, that's 190 miles above its operational arc, but with fuel running low, it retired the satellite at an altitude just over 120 kilometers above the original arc, instead of 300 kilometers. As satellite operations become more prevalent and the space economy accelerates, we must be certain that operators comply with their commitments, the FCC Enforcement Bureau Chief Loyan Egal said. "This is a breakthrough settlement making very clear the FCC has strong enforcement authority and capability to enforce its vitally important space debris rules." The FCC said the settlement includes an admission of liability from the company and an agreement to adhere to a compliance plan and pay a penalty of $150,000. In a statement Tuesday, the Dish appeared to counter the FCC over disposal requirements and argued that the Commission's enforcement arm made no specific findings that EchoStar 7 poses any orbital debris safety concerns. As the Enforcement Bureau recognizes a settlement, the EchoStar 7 satellite was an older spacecraft that had been explicitly exempted from the FCC rules requiring a minimum disposal orbit, a Dish spokesperson said in a statement. Dish has a long track record of safety flying a large satellite fleet, safely flying them, and takes serious responsibilities as FCC licensee. Collision risk. The U.S. aviator regulator FAA recently announced its intention to reduce space debris by requiring private companies to dispose of the upper stages of rocket launch vehicles by, for example, returning them to the Earth's atmosphere or moving them to less congested gravity graveyard orbit. The new regulation, which has yet to be definitively adopted, already exists for government space missions. The FAA said, if left unchecked, the accumulation of orbital debris will increase the risk of collision and clutter orbits used for human spacecraft and for satellites. The European Space Agency estimates that around 1 million pieces of debris larger than a centimeter, that's big enough to disable a spacecraft, 1 million pieces are in Earth's orbit. They are already causing problems, for a near miss in January last year involving the Chinese satellite to a 5-millimeter hole, knocking into a robotic arm on the International Space Station in 2021. And with satellites now crucial for GPS, broadband, and banking data, collisions pose significant risks on Earth. This is by Agence France Presse, and it's on Science Alert. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. Please support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.